Alex Sotiropoulos here with Maroons men's basketball coach Mike McGrath. Coach McGrath, 2 huge wins this past weekend. Let's first go to that Friday game against Emory. They're ranked 4th in the country. You guys came off a very tough loss to Brandeis the past Sunday. What was your mentality going into this game?
My mentality and the team's mentality are different things. I thought we were going to have a grinded out 45-40 game, and the team disagreed with me. But actually, I mean, I think we all had the same mentality. We felt like it was something, we felt like we had lost a couple games the weekend before where we weren't the team we wanted to be. And we didn't fight and claw and scrap as much as we needed to get 2 wins. And that's what we wanted to do this weekend. And Emory makes you do that. They make you do it in a unique way, but they make you claw and scrape and fight for everything. And it's the only way you get a win like that.
Emory's point guard, Austin Clunch, got into early foul trouble, 2 fouls in the first about 7 or 8 minutes, which caused him to only play 8 minutes in the first half. How much of that do you think attributed to the first half being so tight with them being up 46-45 at halftime?
Well, the opposite meant we would have been losing by a lot if it didn't mean something, and I hope that's not the case. They miss Austin when he's not out there. There's no doubt about it. He's a really, really good player and a really, really good leader. But if you go into halftime of that game up 1, which is what I think they were at halftime, I thought the kids who came in and played for them played well and did a good job. I won't kid you, I'd rather play him with him on the bench, but I'm not so sure it had as significant an impact as I thought it might have.
Definitely, but let's talk about Matt Johnson now. He had 20 points in the first half. At what point in that game did you think to yourself, wow, if this guy gets the ball, chances are when he puts the ball up, it's going to go in the basket?
I don't know. It's really kind of interesting. Because of the number of shots Matt took to get to the point total he did, I'm not sure watching it I felt like, I looked at the halftime stats and saw he had 20, but, it wasn't like he was dominating the ball. It wasn't like he was shooting every time he got it, He just made it when he did. He made really good choices, made really good shots, and I've never coached a guy who scored 49 points before, but it didn't feel the same way I thought it might have because he was so efficient. Again, we talked about that last week. The number of plays he's making and the number of shots he's making for the number of times he's touching the ball and trying to make a play is incredibly high.
You got off to a lead midway through the second half, and you told me even last week in our interview that Emory's such a fast team and you can never really be too sure about any lead. Was there any point in this game where you thought, wow, this might be over, we might upset the number 4 team in the nation?
I definitely never thought about upsetting the number 4 team in the nation during the game. Where somebody else is ranked or anything else like that. It's a big UA game. I didn't look at that because of their ranking as any different than NYU, WashU, Brandeis, Carnegie Case. I mean, that didn't cross my mind, and I don't think it crossed the kids' mind. It was a great, great college basketball game. And I think as a coach, naturally you don't relax. I think as a coach against Emory, you never relax. And I just felt like as time went on. I mean, I remember at one point looking at the clock thinking, we've scored a ton of points and there's still 8 minutes to go. It was just a bizarre feeling. And so I never relaxed. I never got comfortable. I felt at one point we got the lead up enough where I thought, okay, maybe we can hang on here even if they make a run. And that's not how the way it played out. I mean, actually losing the lead and then battling back was not how I would have drawn it up. But as opposed to the Brandeis game, the end result was a hell of a lot better.
Now, we could talk about the final 3 minutes of the game for about an hour, about every single thing that happened, but let's just go right down to the last play of the game. You call a timeout before the Emory player goes for a second free throw for the double bonus. You guys are down, I believe, 101-100. What do you tell your guys?
Well, basically, I knew at worst case scenario we were going to have a shot to tie it. And we've got a couple things in our repertoire where Matt has a little freedom to make a decision. And he knew if he needed to get off at 3 or get off at 2. And we designed something new. If we rebounded to get the ball to Matt, and I shouldn't say designed, if we got a rebound, if they had missed the free throw and we were in transition, I wanted to get the ball to Matt and give him a lot of space. Giving him space on a made basket is harder. One, you got to get it inbounded to him. And then 2, whoever inbounded it, his defender's naturally going to be down there to kind of, shadow Matt. What you really wanted to do is avoid them having a chance to double team him or trap him and get the ball out of his hands. And, so obviously we were hoping that they would miss. It would be a little more fluid that way. On a make, we kind of tried to get everybody going one way and change directions to get it to Matt. And then the best we could create space for him. There wasn't a lot of intricacy in terms of what I told the team to do. It was pretty simple. And, he got off a pretty clean look against what I thought was pretty good defense, the way Emory played that. I don't, especially down 2, with 6 seconds, making a guy take a 26-footer, you got to feel pretty good about that. I'm not sure they could have done a much better job. And, Matt made a play, and it was a lot of fun.
Can you give me your whole reaction to that, and then how you had another game on Sunday that you wanted your guys to focus on because it was very big, how you tried doing that and what you told the guys in the locker room right after the amazement?
Well, it's important to let, I think, everybody enjoy a win like that. Especially coming off a loss in a game like that. You want to sit back and say, hey, that was awfully fun, let's enjoy it. And I try to give the team room to do that. And I just planted the seed on Friday night after the game that there's some things we have to pay attention to, and we're going to have to bounce back because we're in for another game like that on Sunday. Despite the record, and our guys knew this, Rochester's very, very good. And so you just kind of said, hey, don't completely forget about it, but enjoy this. And then we came back on Saturday and started to get focused on what we had to do with Rochester. And, it's not an easy thing to do, but it's a heck of a lot easier trying to bounce back after getting that win than it would have been losing that one.
Can you give me a general reaction to Sunday's game against Rochester, the 96-92 win?
Yeah, I thought, unlike the Emory game, I thought it was going to be a close game throughout. But when we had that 7, 8, 9-point lead against Rochester in the second half, I felt a little more comfortable. I felt like we were in a little more stable of a place. Not to the point where I felt like it was over or anything like that, but I just felt a little more comfortable because the way Rochester plays versus the way Emory plays, it's just not as fluid. The fact that both teams scored as many points on Sunday was a lot different than why they scored so many points on Friday. Sunday was a little bit more about execution and completing plays, whereas Sunday the pace just led to a lot of good looks. We felt pretty good about ourselves. We got a kind of a comfortable little bit of a lead. I knew could slip away pretty quickly because it's never comfortable, but I just didn't feel like the pace of the game was going to get to a point where it could turn around as quickly as it could against Emory.
Now, this Friday and Sunday, it's kind of a repeat weekend, except this time away. Emory on Friday, Rochester on Sunday. How much of a vengeance do you think that Emory wants to get on you guys? And are you a little nervous because of how much they probably want to get this win?
I don't know if I'm nervous because of that. Vengeance probably isn't the word I would use. I mean, it's a big game for Emory. It's a big, big game. They have a really good team. They have a bunch of seniors. They're coming off a tough weekend. They're not feeling sorry for themselves. I know Jason and I have a sense of their kids to know that that's not the way they're going to be. They're going to be focused. They're going to be intense. They're going to have a lot of energy, but they were that way here. How much that's escalated, it's a game on the road, and they're going to feel confident, and they're going to feel hungry, and we're battling a lot of things there. Does that make me nervous? No. Has it crossed my mind? Yes. Are we going into playing a very, very good team on the road in the UAA? Doesn't matter what the ulterior motives are. That's big. And for them, it's a game where they want to get these. They feel like they're going to get these at home to have a chance to win the league. And both us and WashU going down there, they're going to be be fired up for both of them.
And finally, can you give me a general type of preview what your thoughts are on Rochester?
I don't think in either game, we're looking at the tape from last weekend. I don't expect any dramatic differences from the other teams. There's going to be some subtle adjustments, but you got a kind of a quick week turnaround. And Rochester, especially offensively, and Emory offensively and defensively, played the way they want to play. Rochester did some things they don't normally do in terms of trapping and playing some box and one on mat, which we were fine with and we were ready for. But you don't expect anything dramatically different because Emory's had a lot of success playing the way that they play, and they lost on a 28-footer at the buzzer. I don't expect anything hugely different that way. And the same is true Rochester. Rochester's a very efficient, very, very good half-court basketball team, especially offensively. I think both of them might try to do some things if Matt gets going, but I think the overall style and foundation of what they do is going to be very consistent. So I think we're looking at similar basketball games, and it's going to be kind of upon us to play well and compete for those wins.
Definitely. And there you have it, Coach McGrath's take on past weekend of games. Quite an amazing weekend, and the preview for this weekend. Maroons open up Emory this Friday, Rochester on Sunday.